All right, we are here live with the Carnivore Cop, Nate. And everybody, if you guys have not checked him out, you need to go check him out. I know he's on Instagram at the Carnivore Cop. And definitely some awesome content. Cook some amazing food that I swear one day I'm just going to pop up at the house and be like, all right, I'm here for dinner, guys. Um, so welcome, Nate. How are you doing today, man?
Good. How are you? Super excited to be with you.
Yeah, same. I don't think this might be officially our first like one-on-one in general. And
Yeah, I know. Early on, I've been on probably a couple of the lives, and just awesome. The group setting's cool, but I think like the one-on-ones are a little more personal, or like the two or three people, and you get like four or
yeah.
five, and you got like people trying to pass information, or they get an idea. If you're like me, I'll lose the idea by the time I get around to it. So
Especially it's like there's one topic and you're like, "Oh, this is what's going on. We're doing this subject." And by the
yeah.
time you have that pause that you could put in what you want to say, it's like, "Oh, we're not even anywhere near that subject."
Yeah, like, can we circle back because I have this one thing that I was talking about.
Right.
Like, we're far past that.
So, I don't know about you, but I have gotten into some interesting topics online recently, especially with the whole world of peptides. And I know you, sir, are a proponent. So
I'm a fan
let's
and a
let's
believer,
get
and I'll
into
give
it.
you my personal experience with peptides. So I know a lot of people, to them, peptides are new. They're like a completely new thing. In fact, some of them are probably under the pretenses that these peptides just immediately started existing out of nowhere. But really, the science and the data goes back almost 40 years. And I'll tell you, like, you things that you're intaking in your normal diet have peptides into them, built into them. But like also, I'll give you a great example. You have people who take collagen for hair and nails. Well, those are single chain, branch chain amino acids. Those are peptides. Collagen is a peptide. The collagen powder that you can get at the store, that's a peptide. And so I think you're seeing a lot more of it because people are more, I would say, more interested in expanding their health and longevity. So
Right.
for me personally, I had a reoccurring tendon and ligament injury in my wrist from doing a lot of shooting, from lifting weights, from doing jujitsu. And it got to the point where I had pretty much stopped most of, if not all, my training. So bad I couldn't even wear a watch on my left hand because just the simply resting of a couple ounce watch on that nerve ending, on that ligament, on that tendon caused pain. And so I went in and talked to uh, like an orthopedic surgeon, like a sports surgeon, and they looked at it and they're like, "Yep, there's a tear in the tendon, and the ligament looks like it's getting ready to go itself. It looks pretty bad, and you're going to have to do surgery. We're going to give you a cortisone shot to get you through for the next like 6 months, and then we'll plan on reconvening. And the intent is that we'll go and do surgery." And I
Right.
was just not willing to accept that because the surgery would have been more downtime for me. Surgery would have been, time where I couldn't actually physically do my job. And then, the other part of it is I couldn't train with weights, not in the fashion I want to. I guess every day would have to be leg day or core day. Let's be honest, not everyone loves leg day as much as others. So
I do.
yeah, I hate. I do it because it's a necessity.
Right.
And so we talked to a family friend who's a nurse practitioner, and she was like, "Well, there's this Wolverine stack. Let's call it Wolverine stack, and it's a BPC 157 and TB 500 together. Uh, they essentially are like a healing compound." And she's like, "It's not cheap, but I can prescribe it to you and take care of you." I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So I did 3.5 months. I noticed the pain started to go away. I noticed I started getting more mobility. I go and shoot and not have to wear a brace, and lift, not have to have a brace, and I go back to the doctor's office for a follow up to prepare to move the paths like where we go and do surgery, and they do a sonogram on it, and then they do an X-ray, and they're like, the inflammation's gone, the tear and the strain on both the ligament and the tendon in that hand completely gone. You've healed. And the doctor himself was like, the surgeon himself was like, I'd love to sell you on a surgery, but I just don't think there's a need to go there. And so I continued the routine. I continued taking that particular peptide compound, and just over time, completely healed. So I don't want to call it a miracle. It's science.
Right.
And it's funny to me because having personal experience and also being kind of a skeptic myself, my mindset on peptides is completely different. I think we're edging towards a new chapter in health and longevity by incorporating these things. And these are things that, like, in most cases, are found in our diet intake. These are things that our body naturally produces. Some people lack those things. As you get older, your body doesn't produce certain things. It doesn't metabolize certain things in the manner that it used to, because you're just, I don't know, you're old. You're an old machine, old but not antiquated, I guess, like the Terminator says.
Shut up. I'm not old.
but over time,
Are we
your
going there,
body, you're not. You're perfect.
So are you. We're good.
Thank you. Your body just doesn't produce these compounds in the manner it used to, and so
Right.
I think we're really on the dawn of a new, I don't know, mindset of longevity, and honestly, it also kind of helped me where I shifted my mindset on those particular things. And it's funny because some people, they get caught up in the nuances of it, or they're like, just change your diet. I agree, change your diet, but
Right.
and metabolic health is extremely important. But there are things that some of these peptides can do that diet just simply can't do. That lifestyle change can't do, and it's because of your body is just not efficient in that manner.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, and not because I
Please.
don't absolutely love and adore you, but devil's advocate. So what are your thoughts on the concern that a lot of people are having now about the fact that a lot of these peptides, and I'm not saying specifically the ones that you're on or
Sure.
have tried or whatever companies, but that a lot of these peptides might be introducing the mRNA mutation because they're being manufactured in the same facilities. What do you think on that? What do you feel about that?
So it was funny because I watched a whole Andrew Huberman podcast about this. So
Right.
it's very fascinating, and it caused me to go and do my own research itself. And the one thing he talks about is that all these peptides, the sourcing of the materials are coming from Asia, and in particular, a lot of the sourcing of the raw materials are coming from China. And that is incredibly true for everything,
Right.
almost everything entirely that comes from our pharmaceutical industry. Prior to compounding, just about everything comes from Asia, and it's because it's cheap and it's abundant. And we're talking like pharmaceutical manufacturers like Eli Lilly, the Pfizer, all those major brands. They're all sourcing their raw material from there. What matters is that it's compounded in a lab stateside. I don't particularly think that. I think it's a scare tactic by coaches, nutrition coaches, and fitness coaches who feel threatened by the potential ability that people can self coach, I don't know, self heal without their existence. I think there's a very large swath of people who don't understand how to incorporate that into their coaching routine. I think there's a big swath of people who feel threatened by it. And I think there's a lot of false information. I'll give you a great example of this. And I love that you brought this up.
Yeah, of course. No problem.
There are people in our community, the carnivore community, who went on a total tangent talking about how GLP-1s are made from lizard venom. I don't know if you remember this. This was like 6 months to a year ago.
I actually do. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it even came up on one of our lives.
Yes. They're like, it's lizard venom or octopus venom or whatever.
Right.
And I laugh about it because I've got family members and friends who work in the pharmaceutical industry who do the lab testing and sourcing. So we talked about it, and I did own independent research. And there's not a 10,000, 100,000 foot warehouse full of Gila monsters where they're extracting venom from. Like,
No.
it's not a thing. What and this is where you have to be careful about where you get your information.
Mhm.
The information that they're putting out is they're getting this venom from these lizards and they're paralyzing people's stomachs, and that's what's going on. And it's entirely fake news. It is a completely fake concept. Where they're getting messed up is that it is a hormone that is found in the lizard that we also produce, that they were replicating a synthetic version. So we have a common theme. It's just like we're like one chromosome off from like a banana, right? Like we could be a
Right.
banana.
Right.
It's same concept. It is a hormone that is found inside the lizard. Earlier versions, while they were testing and creating the original GLP ones that were meant for diabetics, which is also a peptide, believe it or not. Uh, they were sourcing it from that particular lizard.
Yeah.
Now it's all synthetic. So you've got people out there spreading completely false information about, either pharmaceutical grade drugs or, lab compounded, GLP ones, and they're trying to scare people. And it's like, you don't have to do that if you don't want people to use it. You could easily give alternatives and, hey, like, let's make one change. Let's go for a walk every day. Let's go and change our diet up. But to be like spreading completely false information about it, and like, I mean, whole entire posts, whole entire podcasts, whole entire tangents about monster or Gila monster venom being injected into your body it's insane to me. So, and I hope the average person goes out and gets the information on their own. I hope the average person does the research on their own and doesn't follow these social media influencers spreading false information or misguided information about anything dietary. It could
Right.
be anything. I
I
could go
think
out and say I love squats. Squats are the greatest exercise ever, and I'm probably wrong about it, right? But
no.
but you understand what I'm saying, right? You can't,
No,
like,
I
dude.
do. I do.
I'm just some dumb cop, in Texas, who found the keto diet, found the carnivore diet, and likes to work out. Please don't take my word as law of the land. Please, I mean, if I'm talking about
Right.
case law, yes, please go ahead and follow me and believe me, because trust me, I'm scared of case law as much as you are. But
Yeah.
in the same
It's
breath,
crazy.
like, don't take my word as, don't trust the spoken word over the written word. The written word is always rule of law. So, and I'm done. I'm done on my tangent.
Well, I'm with you on that. I mean, I'm probably a lot more hesitant about the whole peptide perspective than you are on this, only because I'm extremely hesitant towards anything that's injectable, basically. And
Sure.
not necessarily because of, oh my gosh, it can't be possible or this can't be beneficial, because there are lots of things that are beneficial that would not be considered a natural route or whatever, however you want to look at it that way,
Sure.
that are beneficial. So I just am generally a little more hesitant, but I'm 100% with you, especially on the aspect of don't take my word for it. Go do your research. Go find out for yourself. Also, don't just read one side of the data. Just because you find data that says all good on this is all great, this is all perfect, go find the opposing person's data, the opposing research. Go find that. Make yourself read it. Make yourself
Absolutely.
become educated on both ends of the spectrum so that you can make a fully educated decision on your own comprehension of what you derived from this information that's been provided to us, right? I think a lot of people get really hell bent on, they read one article, they read one piece of material, and this is all the information I need. And it's like, well, Did you happen to read the opposing side? I'm not saying you have to agree with it, but did you happen to read the documentation on the other side? Just to have a true, clear understanding where you actually stand and not just a propaganda stance.
Absolutely. I love that.
Right?
Yeah, nailed
So
it.
so Keto50 is in the comments here. And he said in all capital, "What's Nate think about all these young cops on TRT? It's the first go-to nowadays instead of meat." So he wants to know what your perspective is, my dear.
I love that. Okay, so I am on TRT, believe it or not. And I'll tell you
Oh
why.
my god.
Actually, it
All right.
was, yeah, I know. Sorry, sorry, Eric. No, so I'll tell you, it was the last case scenario. And I'll tell
Oh,
you when I went on TRT and why I went on TRT and what's going on here. So the long short is I had been on night shift for roughly 4 years. Hang on, let me close my bird off. So I had been on night shift about 4 or 5 years, some form of night shift, either like a swing shift where I got off at like 3 o'clock in the morning, or a full on night shift where it was midnight to 8 a.m. I also was metabolically a mess. So I was out of shape, 270 pounds. I was working 7 days a week because I was putting my wife through her, I guess it would be her second degree, and nursing school all at the same time. We had just had a baby. And so I was a disaster, like just a total mess. And so I started eating keto. I started, basically, um, working on myself in the process. And I had lost a little weight, but I was kind of having a hard time with like sleep and I wasn't feeling good and I was fatigued all the time. We have our second kid, right? Same problem. So I lose a little weight, I lose 10, 20 pounds, but I don't like really lose weight, even eating keto. Anyways, um, I go to see a friend who's a nurse practitioner. They've got a wellness clinic. They do my blood work, and they're like, "You've got test levels of a 7-year-old man." Like I was below 100, total
wow.
T cell count. Yeah, like I was.
Yeah.
It was pretty messed up. And so she was like, "Let's get you on some B12 shots. Let's go and uh, do BioT, which is a pellet that they insert in your flank, um, and let's get you back to health." And so I started my path where I started eating really strict keto. I started working out every day. I slept better, and I eventually, over time, lost my weight. And it wasn't like an overnight thing. So I just want to throw that out there. If anyone is considering testosterone, male or female, I think it should be a last case scenario, and it really was a last case scenario. I think if you can go through and do the metabolic work where you're actually trying to take care of yourself, you're really doing the grunt work, the diet, the exercise, the sleep, focusing on those things, and you could potentially change those things yourself. And so, uh, I mean, the long short, I lost my weight over like 4.5 years. So it's not like it was an overnight thing. And it's not like testosterone made me immediately lose the weight. It
Right.
actually didn't. In fact, I put weight on when I got on testosterone initially, and then through working out, it dropped. And so I don't think it should be a first case scenario. I think it should be a last case scenario. I don't think it should be the easy end all be all. Um, you know, I know guys who older gentlemen in this profession, and let's be super straight up. Law enforcement is a young man's game. It gets harder as you get older.
Right.
It's I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Dazed and Confused, where Matthew McConaughey is leaning against the bowling alley wall, and he's like, the one thing I love about high school girls is, I keep getting older, they keep staying the same age. That is an extremely true concept for law enforcement. I keep getting older, and the suspects keep staying the same age. They
Right.
are, it's all 20-year-old dudes, or
God, I never thought about
yeah,
that from like
yeah,
the police perspective, but when you actually say it like that, it's like, holy crap, you're right. Because, the general age range of, I mean, I don't want to say delinquency, but
yeah.
people making those types of decisions, right?
It's all 16 to 24-year-old men. You can dive into it further if you really wanted to, but it's 16, 24-year-old men, and when they decide they want to run, they're so fast. It's so ridiculous. It's funny because my partner and I, years ago, a buddy of mine, we go to run after this kid, and he's just like super fast, and it's like uh, super bad where he's like, oh my god, he's the fastest man alive. Like literally, that's me in the background, like fighting for my life. Also, about 70 pounds heavier than I am now, and
Oh,
and so my buddy, my partner catches up to him, and the guy's like, I can't believe you caught me. I've got a D1 scholarship, and I'm like, you have a D1 scholarship, you've just ruined it. What are you doing running from us?
right.
So, anyways, yeah.
I have a story very similar to that, except for I wasn't a cop.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
No, I mean it's a bad story, but this kid, speaking of like bad decisions or whatever, he had a scholarship for I don't know what it's called, but basically s- running, being like the fastest runner for where they
Or like a
hand off
sprinter or something. Oh
baton.
yeah, the relay. Yeah,
Relay, yeah. And he, in our state, he was in high school. He won all the state championships for that, got a scholarship, whatever. And there was one night, my ex and I were driving home and never saw this kid.
oh,
And he was drinking with his friends. He was 18, still in his last year of high school. And because of his speed, they were all making bets that he could outrun the traffic. Mind you, this is on a road where 55 miles an hour is standard. So everybody's
sure.
going approximately 60, right?
Yeah, that's cooking.
And well, he made it across a couple times until it came to us.
Oh
And we ended up
no.
hitting him dead on. And we were driving a 2006 Dodge Ram with a solid steel bumper,
Sure.
strat on. And the thing that was insane, he lived. But I remember after like weeks later finding out all of the data about him going, what the hell are you thinking? You just ruined
Yeah.
your whole potential of what you were
Yeah.
going for.
That's crazy. I'm sorry that happened to you. That's terrible.
It is probably one of the more traumatic experiences in my life. Like I have like weird issues about driving at night now because I'm always
Sure.
like hyper aware of the
Yeah.
edges. Did not see this kid at all. Um, but that that delinquency era of age where
Oh
it's like
yeah.
you're just making stupid, dumb decisions.
It's like what were you thinking? They're like, I wasn't. You're like, you're
Was
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And but it's always usually around that age range. And like you were explaining for officers, you guys are getting older. I mean, yeah, new
Yeah.
recruits and stuff are coming in all the time, but the ones who stay, who continue to go through and
Mhm.
actually, work their way towards retirement and stuff like that, it's like, well, yeah, you guys aren't getting any younger.
Yeah. And to kind of fall back on the TRT thing, I don't think it should be your first case scenario. I think you should do all the legwork that you can to go and avoid jumping on it. And there are, believe it or not, peptides that even help natural testosterone production. So,
Right.
I mean, if you can avoid even jumping on TRT, I think you should. I mean, and I'm someone who I'm on TRT. I've been on TRT for 4 years. I get my blood work drawn every 8 weeks. I've got a routine. I've got
Yeah.
a practitioner that I see or a doctor I see, and I do notice a difference while I'm on it in terms of my sleep, my overall mood, uh, but also if I could have accomplished the same thing without being on it in terms of the sleep, the mood,
Right.
uh, I absolutely would. So,
Yeah.
and I do not see myself being on it indefinitely. Um, and I've gone, 6, 8 weeks where I wasn't on it, and my T levels drop off, basically to where I was before. And I understand there's an adjustment period, right, where your body decides to kick back in. But for me personally, I'll probably stay on it for a while, especially as long as I'm in this job. And the I think the one benefit that I've gotten from it is I'm more in tune with my body. I'm, looking at my blood work. I'm seeing where my, total cholesterol is. Not that
Right.
that matters really in particular, but I
Yeah.
started to figure out what is causing inflammation, things like that. So I think it was for me a catalyst, but it wasn't wasn't like the start point. I had started prior to that to focusing on trying to take my life back. But I love that
Right.
Eric brought that up. I love that Eric brought that up. I do genuinely think um, that you've got a lot of young dudes who are just immediately jumping onto it and they think it's going to solve all the problems, and I don't think it solves the problems. I mean, it helps. It's a band. I don't say band-aid. It's not a band-aid. Uh, it's a catalyst.
Mhm.
But if you're not actually doing the back end work where you're eating right, you're not working out, it's a waste. I mean,
Right.
you're going to get a high T level, but you're not, and you might sleep a little better, but you're not actually like making the self improvements.
And I think that that is a bit of a misnomer, misunderstanding in the carnivore community specifically, like not just, our little community, but the whole carnivore society.
Mhm.
Let's put them that way.
The
Is that
ecosystem.
the ecosystem? Yeah, right. Exactly. Is that, you know, carnivore fixes everything. Carnivore is an end all be all. There, it's gonna fix absolutely anything and everything, and there's nothing to ever have to rely on. And I'm sorry, as somebody who is a wholehearted, full carnivore advocate to like the depths of my core, that is a load of bullshit. I'm, and
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
going to put it out there. It is a load of bullshit because there are a lot of factors that line up to how much damage did you incur to your physical being before starting carnivore? And did you potentially shut down systems or disrupt them so egregiously that they might not be repairable to 100% just based off of a shift in biological availability and nutrients?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think it's even for me more entertaining is there are carnivore nutrition coaches or carnivore fitness coaches who aren't telling you they're taking peptides, who aren't telling you they're on TRT.
Right.
And so while
Mhm.
they're out there posing for the camera, while they're out there talking about the lifestyle, they're doing a lot of things in the background that aren't incredibly transparent. And I have no problem being like, hey, yeah, I'm on TRT. Yes, I do take peptides. Uh, you know, but I also am very transparent. I'm up at 3:30 in the morning every day to get my workout in. Because I know if I don't work out at 3:30 in the morning, I'm not going to get my workout in. I meal
Right.
prep on every Sunday and put my meals together for the entire week. I cook at my house. It's not that my wife doesn't cook. When she cooks, it's amazing. I just am the grill master. And guess what? Most of the meat is made on the grill.
Right.
So, I go through
Utterly.
I cook meals for my family. And so it's not, you know, I think they're talking about that stuff. They're talking about the meal prep. They're talking about the workouts. But what they're not talking about is what they're doing on the back end also. And I think
Yeah.
the world would benefit a lot more, especially in the keto and the carnivore verse, or for that matter, the fitness industry in general, because we all know it's a very competitive industry. The coaching
Right.
industry is very competitive. I think a lot of people would benefit a lot more if they're just transparent and be like, yeah, uh,
Mhm.
yes, I work out really hard. But I'm also doing these things on the side. So, and do I
Right.
think that these things make a difference? They make a difference for me in my well-being, but I
Mhm.
don't think they make a difference in, why I hit this bill. Now, you can obviously see when someone's like totally not natural. You look at these like IBBF pros. Well, that's completely different. They're taking the entire pharmacy, whereas someone's taking, the Wolverine stack to go and repair ligament and tendon injuries. So that's completely different. So,
Right.
but yeah, I think there are a lot of people who aren't being transparent, who are maybe misleading people, not intentionally or intentionally, but
Right.
they're not being transparent about what they're actually doing to achieve, the fitness level
Right.
that they're at.
And I think a lot of that comes from this stigma of perfection. Like
Sure.
you have to hold this image in order to to prove or convince somebody that this actually works. And it's
Yeah.
like it's such a crappy reality to just
Sure.
being on here. 'Cause like there's my own experience. Let's put it that way. My own experience. Yes, I've had all my thyroid stuff. Yes, I've had cancer. Yes, I ended up with Hashimoto's. But there is a whole like slew of other things beyond that that affect my physical existence
Hmm.
that it's like I'm sorry, but carnivore is not going to fix it. Is it going to make it probably to where I function significantly better than I would have? Yes. Little things like the fact that I do have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I do have a double negative E antibody, big E, little e antibody in my blood system, which is extremely abnormal.
Hmm.
So for people like me, where my metabolic well-being doesn't function standardly, even when I was, quote, the healthiest in my like growing up years, right?
Sure.
I don't work the same way as say the typical average person, which not everybody does. But to sit there and go, okay, well, being on carnivore is going to fix me because of all this and XYZ, it's like, it's not going to fix my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I'm sorry. That's a genetic screw up in my system that happened before I was born.
Sure.
Like,
Absolutely.
like, is it going to alleviate it? It's probably going to help if I don't add a bunch of BS into my system. Absolutely. Is it going to fix it? No. Is it going to eradicate it, make it better? It can help.
Yeah, it can absolutely mitigate symptoms or make, navigating this world a little bit easier. And
Right.
like a great example is me personally, there's not much that causes me inflammation. I can go through and eat whatever I really want and never get aches or pains from it. When I
Thank
was
God.
heavier, I had aches and pains. And I'll tell you why I had aches and pains, because I was carrying like 90 extra pounds from where I am now. And so when you start taking that weight off your frame, you feel better. And I think I've seen conversations in like some of the different carnivore communities where people are like, my sciatic nerve stopped hurting. Carnivore healed me. Dude, losing weight healed you. Getting the pressure off that joint, off the spine, off your hips. That's what made you feel better. It wasn't the inflammation from other things. Now, with that being said, my wife in particular has a whole marker of things that she can't eat that cause her inflammation. Can't eat tomatoes, can't eat mozzarella, can't have, eggs. Because anytime she has that, she's like, oh, my arthritis, my back, this, everything aches. I feel like I got in a car accident. And there's certain things in those items that cause her inflammation. Does that does that mean carnivore is working for her? Well, yeah, like eating keto is working for her. Eating carnivore is working for her because it has alleviated, it has gotten rid of, those particular items from her diet. And
Right.
so for her, eating keto, eating carnivore, is it the end game? Well, it might have to be, but she eventually wants to go and add certain things back to her diet. And you have to do those individually one at a time. I'm sorry, there's a hummingbird by the window, it caught my attention. Squirrel. So uh, over time, she wants to start going back to kind of like a less regimented diet. Well, that means she's got to slowly add one thing at a time. And she
Right.
also did like the DNA test to figure out what was really just to get a general idea.
Yeah.
Which, if you're someone who deals with inflammation, chronic inflammation, if you're someone who deals with it, and you don't want to go through the whole process of like, let's just go to meat, eggs, and cut dairy completely, and then slowly add things back in. It's a great idea. It gives you a great idea where these levels of inflammation are coming from.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
it like I said, it is a great diet in the aspect that like it can get you on the path you need to get to where you can start healing. But it's not to solve everything. I think anyone who says it's to solve everything maybe had a great run with it, they had a great experience with it, and it worked perfectly for them and solved their everything. But for
Right.
others, it's not going to be the same for everyone. Experiences vary.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like, I can only speak for myself. I try not to speak for others as much as possible. Like, I have worked out practically at least minimum 5 days a week since probably 2012. And it's like people would look at me and go, "Oh, there's no way. There's just no way. There's no way that you've, put in all this work and you do all of this and you still are the size that you are, right?" And I'm like, there is a way when your endocrine system got so wrecked that
Yeah,
even now, being carnivore, I mean, I still scream it from the rooftops. It has helped me tremendously. It has helped me heal so many things. But I also have so many things that just don't really work anymore by themselves. So it's
sure,
like that you can't just look at people from where they're at every point in time and go, "Oh, this doesn't actually work." Because I do see that for a lot of people too, where it's like, "Oh, you know what? This doesn't actually work because this person XYZ." And it's like, well, you also don't know what each person's XYZ was before you saw them where they are now. But but like sorry, I'm trying to read comments and handle talking at
oh, I'm
the
sure,
same
yeah.
time. You're worried about a hummingbird, and I'm like, I've
I
got feeds going.
I'm just happy I can see the comments, but they're not big enough for I can actually read them. So in that aspect, it saved my ADD like tenfold. No,
I
okay,
understand.
so it's not a one size fit all response.
Right.
Not everyone's going to have the same response, and I
Right.
100% agree with you. And that's the other thing. Like, there's a lot of I think there's a lot of well intent with people where there's a lot of people who are like, this is what I did and it worked for me and it's perfect and this is the way to do it. This is how I do carnivore. This, and I don't think you're wrong at all. I think that there are people, like I said, experiences may vary. There are people who have had tremendous outcomes, life changing outcomes, and but I don't think it's equally applied across the board because everyone's in a different state metabolically. And I think the level of repair, it's like if I go total a car out and I go to a shop and then you bring your car in and all you need is an oil change. Well, those are two completely different levels of problems, right? The,
Exactly.
the, the
Yeah.
oil change is going to take 30 minutes to fix. The totaled out car may not be entirely fixable. Like you could probably get it cosmetically looking better, but
Right.
it may not function the same, right? There might always be a creak when you hit a bump in the road. It might not necessarily drive
Right.
100% straight, but we're
Yeah.
doing the best we can with what we got. And
Absolutely.
so, in that aspect, I'm with you. I 100% agree. And that's the other thing. I'll tell you. I think there's I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. A lot of misnomers, maybe a lot of like not necessarily 100% accurate information where you've got some of these coaches who are coaching people along and then they hit a stall, right? You get this, let's say someone's 300 pounds and they got a coach or someone, or they're reading information on the internet and it's telling them like, hey, like you got to do this and this will lose weight. And then they hit their stall and they're like, just keep eating. Eating whatever, eat as much as you want until you're full and maybe incorporate one day of fasting a week. And then they lose a little bit more weight. And then the person's like, whoever's coaching them or the information on the internet tells them, well, you're just not doing carnivore correctly. Well, that's not necessarily true. And I experienced this, personally. I lost, I don't know, 50 pounds and then I stalled. And I was just like, God, I can't lose this like extra like 30, 40 pounds that I'm trying to lose. And so I was like, well, everyone on the internet, I'm doing it right. I'm eating 60% fat, 40% protein. Well, then I went and started looking at my macros. And I really started paying attention to what was going on. And I'm like, well, my BMR, which is like if I'm in a catatonic state, strapped to a bed on a ventilator, my BMR says I should be eating 1,800 calories just to sustain life sitting around. And I'm eating like 2,600 calories. Well, yeah, I'm eating my macros the way people tell me I'm supposed to, right? I'm eating the
Right.
60% fat, 40% protein to drive, ketosis and weight loss, but I'm not losing weight. Well, yeah, I'm eating a caloric deficit or a caloric surplus. Well, I didn't know that. And the reason why is because I could get away with essentially eating whatever I want because I was so unhealthy and I was so obese that any change from where I was at was going to be a positive change.
Right.
Well, now
Yeah.
we got to lock in to go and take it to the next level. And
Right.
so I don't think it's fair that people are like, just eat whatever you want, because I think that works initially. Eat as much steak and eggs and butter and cheese as you want, and you'll lose weight. Yes, for like 90% of the people that will work initially. And for the remainder, when they get to the point where they're like really trying to take it to the next level and lean up and look good, you got to pay attention. And I think I look at like people like, what is it, all these keto bodybuilders that are out there, they're all saying the same thing I am. So
Right.
maybe we're all wrong, and these certified nutrition coaches are 100% correct. But then again, they've got people who stall out and they don't make it to where they really want to be, and they end up
Well,
losing them as a client because they're not willing to talk about the hard stuff.
and I think there's also like a difference with eating carnivore in a specific matter if you're only looking at like metabolic healing, right?
Yes.
Versus body composition. And those are actually two different worlds. They travel the same path,
Yeah, they run
but
parallel
they're
and sometimes they intersect,
right,
but but they're
they're
absolutely running
not
parallel.
yeah, they're not one in the same. Can they be? Like you said, they sometimes intersect, they can. But it's like, okay, you're going to get people who may not necessarily need a whole lot of like fixing, I guess for lack of better terms as far as health reasons. I think you're going to end up with better results with them composition wise, typically overall, than say somebody who just went through some sort of crazy extreme, cancer battle. If they're a few weeks out after that, I don't think you're going to get the same like
Yeah,
you're going to function differently. They're going to need different requirements. And sometimes the nutrient requirements that you're going to need for some sort of like major medical physical health repair versus finally going after a physical composition and appearance, you're going to function differently. And those are
absolutely.
not always one and the same.
Well, the other thing is they'll be like, well, you just need to fast more. That's the other thing that cracks me up. And I love that. And I love fasting. I think there's a lot of positive benefits from fasting. Okay. The autophagy, all the cellular repair, killing off dead cells,
Right.
all that sort of stuff. And from a metabolic health standpoint, it's fantastic. But then you've got some of these people telling them, hey, um, you know what? You're not losing weight. You should probably start fasting. Well, what is that really? I mean, like if we just look at it
Right.
from like a macro perspective, what is that? Well, that's a caloric deficit. Sorry to
Mhm.
say that. I mean, it
No,
is.
it is.
And so you got people who are like, I'm going to do, if you, let's say you start looking at your calorie intake, uh, let's say you look at your calorie intake on a 7 to 10 day scale, or even zoom out, you do it at like a 30-day perspective, right? And you're like, okay, I know that each day I've got like 1,800 calories to live at my BMR, to be in a surplus. I'm like 2,200 calories, whatever. Uh, and then you decide over those 30 days that instead of the intake being, I don't know, 1,800 to 2,000 calories, you're going to fast. Well, what are you over the course of those 30 days? If I fast for 7 days out of the month, what have I done? I've driven a caloric deficit. And
Right.
and and there are some of these wellness coaches who hate to hear that. They're like, it's not about that. Well, that's what you're doing. You're causing these people to go into caloric deficit. Like
Mhm.
and and the reason why the carnivore diet works so well is for most people just to simply changing to ketosis makes a huge difference and drives that initial weight loss. You lose water weight, you lose inflammation, your body burns fat for energy. But at some point in time, they're going to stall. Everyone stalls.
Right.
Okay, incorporate fasting. Well, now guess what? They're in a deficit again, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's the same perspective that like what my dad used to do, the way he did his um food cycling when he was bodybuilding, right? He would
mhm,
be really, 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 really strict 6 days a week. And seventh day, he would eat anything and everything as much as he wanted. It didn't matter. And the reality behind that was because it's how many
yeah,
amounts of units of energy are you consuming in the overall period of time? So it didn't matter if he had 3,000, 4,000, whatever calories in that one day. The body can only absorb so much of it in one day, anyways, at one point
exactly.
in time. And the rest of the next week or the week prior, because his body utilized so much in a, I guess it may have been in a deficit, I don't know, during that time period, that it didn't matter how much he ate in that one day. And it's kind of like the opposite concept, right? Like you're
Sure.
eating normally and then you don't eat for those 2 days. It's that same concept. You're not allowing the body to go past a certain amount of energy input versus energy output.
Well, the other thing is I think a lot of people have gotten away with saying, "Hey, just eat what you want and you'll lose weight." Right? Not eat what you want, but eat, keto, eat carnivore,
Eat
eat,
intuitively. That's the biggest thing
yeah,
I
eat
hear.
intuitively. Okay,
Yeah,
and that works for a lot of people because fat is satiating, right?
right?
It is a nutrient dense. Protein is
Mhm.
satiating. It's nutrient dense, so people feel fuller longer.
Right.
But if you really go and look at what they're eating in that period of time while they're eating keto, while they're eating carnivore, and then you look at how they're eating before, what are they probably doing? But I would say there's a 95, I would put my life savings and say that there's a 99% chance that those people are eating in a caloric deficit while eating keto, while eating carnivore, in comparison to how they're
Yeah,
eating before, because they were
probably.
eating shit before, right?
Yeah. And
So
then
that's a big part of it.
you have people too, like myself, I can't eat intuitively. That's like the
Oh no.
dumbest thing for me. Not because I'll overeat, because I have the opposite problem. I won't eat. Don't tell me
Mhm.
to eat when I'm hungry. I never feel hungry.
Right.
I don't get those signals. So it's like, "Oh, eat when you're hungry." Well, then I'll see you in a few days. Like,
No, it's true. And for me in particular, I live in Texas. It's like we're heading into the hot times. Like, I talked about it with all these like European athletes coming to Texas, for the World
right.
Cup. Like, they're suffering. Well, I'm suffering too. Like, I'm out in this weather. I'm straight up suffering. But for me, the suffering is my appetite is nuked from the heat. The
Yeah.
last thing I want to do after spending 4 or 5 hours in the morning is come in during my lunch hour at work and eat, a T-bone steak or eat, a pot roast. Like pot roast is the least appetizing thing to me during the summer. And so, yeah, I have to pay attention because I'm probably not eating enough, right? Or
Yeah.
my appetite's completely nuked. So I totally get that concept. And
Mhm.
and in comparison to what I'm doing during my day, between my workouts, my actual work day, the physical demands of, being at the training academy, teaching recruits, being outside in the heat, uh, you know, I'm most likely eating a caloric deficit. And that's part of the reason why I lean up during summer. I always lean up during summer because I'm just like, it's so physically demanding in the heat. It's such a load on my body. I drink a
Right.
ton of water, so I'm full because of that. And
Mm.
and so, yeah, like I do have to pay attention. I'm 100% with you. If I eat intuitively during the summer, I will probably shrink like no one's business. And I am currently at my lightest I've been in a while. And it's because I drove myself to that point. Like I'm really trying to get to that physical weight, but also the physical build to get to this point, like where I want to look a certain way. But now I'm like, okay, I got to maintain it, and that means I have to like continue to eat in a certain way.
A
Like I have to,
certain way. Yeah.
yeah, I have to pay attention to it. And and part of that is like, well, I know that my physical load during summer is extremely high, so like I'm more apt to eat keto than I am carnivore because it's just I can get away with it. I'm
Yeah.
doing the work on the back end and throughout the day.
Well, and it also sounds like from what I'm hearing, like you also are physically outputting enough energy that any of those foods that might potentially cause somebody inflammation in general might not affect you because your body is utilizing as much as anything and everything it can. So there's not like the potential for the inflammation to even be able to become a prominent issue because your body's processing
Sure,
through everything so much.
I could see
This is
that,
just a I'm just theorizing.
no, I don't disagree with you. I mean, but then again, like I said, I've always been blessed where if I get inflammation, it's like I get like puffy in my love handles. Like that for
Yeah.
me, that's like inflammation. Like love handle. I notice. I wake up, I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, ugh, like there they
Oh,
are. They're the love handles, right? And I know, it's funny because I know what causes me to look puffy. Either it's too much
yeah.
salt or too much magnesium, or it's eating X amount of fruits or whatever. But you know, I do notice that aspect of things.
Yeah. My husband's very particular in that aspect too. Like he knows whenever he goes, he just said this to me yesterday. He's had um several of those like sparkling um is it bubblies?
Bubblies,
Bubbly?
okay, yeah.
Whatever,
Oh
that
yeah,
particular
so
brand. He's had several of those and he walks out to me yesterday morning and he's like, "Look, my little pooch is back. Like I got my little," and I'm like, you're bloated because you're intaking something that your body has a higher sensitivity to that you don't
yeah,
normally intake." And he was like, "So I'm not getting fat?" And I'm like, of course, he's like, lean rail man, always has been. And I'm like,
that's
shut
funny.
up. Shut up.
Well, like I've never. I hear people who eat keto and carnivore talk about alcohol, for instance. They're like, oh, it completely squashed. And for me personally, like, yeah, I could take it or leave it at this point in time. And I don't know
Right.
if it's just like me being so focused on being healthy. I don't know if it's just me being focused on like, hey, like I've got physical goals that I'm trying to achieve, or I'm just too busy. Like right now, I'm working insane hours just because the World Cup is in our area. But in the same breath, if I go sit at the pool, like I'm probably going to have a Truly, right? I might have a ranch water or something like that. But I do notice like the next day, I'm like, I'm a little bloat. Like, what's going on here?
Right.
And
That's
I'll even like
exactly what
stand
he
in front of my wife, and be like, am I pregnant? Like, what's going on here? Like, why do I look like this? And she'll be like, you will remember you sat at the pool and had like, two ranch waters or a Truly or
right.
whatever, like you're just gonna have to go sweat to, cook it off today. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. Thanks for making me feel better.
Oh my goodness, I think we've got a visitor.
Hi guys,
Hey, how
it's
are
Nate
you?
in real time. I'm
We
good.
did
How are you
it.
guys? It's
We did
real.
it.
Nate and I are actually speaking with each other in real time. It's a fact. It's happening.
It's awesome. It looks like it's sunny up by you.
It is. Yeah, for the first time in forever. Look, I have blue skies.
It's
It's
What are
awesome.
those?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
we're
got
planning
your
on
tea.
cooking at the pool later. I don't know if it's pool weather all the way up there, but we're there. So the plan is we're gonna hit the pool after this.
It's warm. I don't know how to do the Celsius to Fahrenheit conversion, but it's warm.
You
For
know,
we'll
we refer to it as freedom to not freedom here. So
uh, it's Freedom Day. To Freedom Day. How are you
Nice.
guys? What are you talking about? I jumped right in, so I have absolutely no idea what was happening.
I'm sure whatever we're talking about is going to trigger someone at some point in time. So that's just
Is
Oh
it
okay
yeah.
by that.
Is it
Mhm.
Carnivore Johnny showing up in a Coca-Cola t-shirt? Is that part of
Ooh,
the
shame, shame.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like a
like,
vintage tea. Okay.
yeah, you've got your vintage Coca-Cola shirt. I've got the First Form supplement shirt, which I'm sure people are going to just not appreciate either. Listen, some of us enjoy pre-workout before working out. I don't do it for the love of the game some days.
I don't. I do not drink Coca-Cola. I'll put that out there to everybody watching at the moment. I just like a vintage T-shirt, and that's where we're
Yeah,
at.
I'm with you on
Hey,
that. I'm rocking Tom
my
Petty today.
my guilty pleasure is the occasional Coke Zero, so I don't care what anyone says.
I'm not gonna point the finger at you for that. I've put back the enough white monsters to take down an elephant. So
We love white monsters in this house. My wife was a night shift labor and delivery nurse, and she was like, "Listen, if I don't have a half gallon of coffee or a white monster, I am not going to make it through tonight. So you better stop at the gas station, pick one up."
that's how it be. I just finished a long fast and had coffee for the first time since a while, and feeling alive again, which is really great.
Hits a little bit different when you have a fresh pot. It's after a
Yeah.
fast for sure.
Yeah, I went and walked around the old part of the city this morning too, so it was got some
Nice.
sun and enjoyed some sunshine
That's
because it's
cool.
been pouring rain for days on end.
Nice.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Nice.
guys, what were we talking about? What were we doing? What were we?
So we
Yeah.
were talking about Nate and his puffy love handles.
Oh, you are disgusting, Nate. It's a fact. It bothers me. I've been meaning to talk to you about this.
I feel it some
If you
days.
could not, that would be super for all of us.
Yeah. I'm just, I'm trying to fix it.
Are you bulking right now, or are you in a cut at the moment?
I'm maintaining. I'm trying to maintain. We were just actually, it was funny. We were talking about with the heat down here, it's really hard. And for her, she was talking about eating intuitively. I'm like, if I eat intuitively during the summer, I'll look frail and sick. So I'm just trying to maintain. I'm going to probably ride out the next, 2 months where I'm at weight wise. And I'm probably going to try to bulk a little bit going into fall and do it again. So I noticed it was funny because my wife just showed me a picture of myself last summer, and sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees in
Right.
terms of your own journey. And God bless my wife, she takes photos. She's the photo person for the most part. And it was us at like a family function last year, and she's like, "You look completely different. Like you can tell you put the work in."
Yeah.
And it made me blush because I think she still finds me handsome, which is great. But the other part of it is, someone outside of, myself, or for that matter, someone who actually matters recognize my work. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Isn't that always awesome? I mean, to me, that it's so funny. My husband is not a fitness person in any way, shape, or form. I mean, me attempting to convince him, I'm like, just do yoga or something. I don't care what you do.
As a yoga guy.
Just do something.
Sure.
And he's like, no. And of course, I'm like, you realize I'm almost 9 years older than him. So I'm like, you realize, right now, I could squat you. And he's like, that's fine. I'm like, no, that's not fine. I'm almost 9 years older than you. That means my age is going to peak sooner.
Tell him that hot yoga is the pit of misery. I'll tell you, I did hot yoga a couple times, and every time I did it, I had to go out in the parking lot and dry heat. It was just like, wow.
Yeah, hot yoga is terrible.
And we do this to ourselves. I haven't done hot yoga in years.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I'm hot and I do yoga. That's
I don't even do yoga. I stretch sometimes when I'm reminded to.
The big thing by us right now is Legree. The ladies love the Legree. In fact, we've got a friend who has a couple Legree studios, and they keep trying to talk me into doing it. And I'm like, I don't want to feel like I got in a car accident. I can do that on my own. Because I mean, my buddy, our friend who owns a couple of these Legree studios, she talks her husband into going. Like every time he does it, he's just like, "Oh God, all the fine muscles have been hit today. Can't stand, can't sit, don't want to lay. Nothing feels right." So
I have never done Legree. I've never done Pilates. I didn't fit into those environments very well. I fit into the weight part of the gym. That seems to be a good place for me. Running, also not a place for me. Probably also not a place for you, Selena.
Yeah. I hate running. It's the last thing I want to do. I do it only because I probably need to at least run 2 miles, once a month.
I
So
mean,
it
I
was
feel
funny
like you have a
because
job where you need to be able to run, especially carrying like heavy
yeah,
equipment. So
no, it's true. And yeah, I mean, yeah, at least some form of cardio. So like when you decide to run after someone, you don't drop dead from a heart attack. So I think that's
yeah,
definitely important.
I
And
usually
it's
do
funny
like the
because
stair climber thing.
I love it. That's my favorite. I love incline walks on the treadmill at like a 2 mile per hour pace, max incline. That's just
Same.
that is the perfect. I can do that where I know I'm struggling, but I'm not dying, and I live in that zone 2 cardio world.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
And it was funny because we were talking the other day, and like I jokingly say, like I have these like unreal beliefs that I can do certain things. I'm very much so like I'm going to do it, and then I do it, and then I hate it while I do it, but I get it done. And it was funny because I was joking around with a buddy. I was like, it'd be really funny to like for me to just go and run like 1776 miles, like 17.76 miles on the 4th of July. And he was like, when's the last time you ran over 2 miles? And I was like, I don't know. I did Tough Mudder like 10 years ago. And I think it was like 5 miles. And he was like, you're not going to do it. I was like, now I might just because
Now I have
now
to
I
do
might
it.
just because you told me I couldn't.
Oh, that 100% is my perspective
Yeah,
completely.
same.
Like,
They
I
literally
can't.
told me at work on Friday, they're like, you know how we get you to do things, Jenny? We just tell you either somebody else is going to do a better job or
Oh,
that
it's
it's
the
something
worst.
that you can't do. And they're like, and then literally you just outperform everybody purely on
Yeah,
ego.
if you catch me on the right day, be like, let them do it. Like,
Right?
Yeah.
let them solve that problem. But for the most part, I'm the same way. I'm just like, oh, really? They
This
said
is
that?
Pisces vibes, me and Nate. I don't know where you're
That's
coming from
right.
there, Taurus, but just a couple of fishy folks with their
That's
egos.
right. Oh, just keep swimming.
Yeah, Nate and I are just a salmon going upstream all the
Right.
time.
Right. I am definitely like back on the running thing. I am not built for running, but the hilarious part is I am built for running. So I did my whole like talking about genetic profiles and getting all of those things tested that we were talking about earlier, Nate, right? Like
Mhm.
if you don't want to go through the whole like whatever. I have had my genetics like run through the gambit of everything to be checked for as far as like potential probability for all of like my athletic potentials and all of this, right? I am supposed to be like built for running. I mean, I'm supposed to be built for running, except
Sure.
my lungs.
Oh, which is kind of important.
Yeah, on my profile, I remember it read everything. It was like, if you want to be strength, endurance, like speed, you've got like you are built
You've got it all.
genetically to be able to do this. And by the way, you can't breathe. What?
Oh,
Sounds accurate.
that's brutal.
Thanks,
No,
universe.
but you say that, but honestly, like I'm not a runner. Like I hate it. I look goofy when I run. I get made fun of by people when I run. Um, there's nothing fast or agile about
Me
me
too. I run like
at
this.
all.
I mean, you
But
have to.
like just simply living in zone 2 cardio, I think makes a huge difference. Doing the workouts, just showing up, I think makes a difference for a lot of people. And so
Absolutely.
just keep on swimming. Like I said, they the bird.
Oh, bring
Yeah.
bird.
No, I'm not bringing her in the room. No way.
You know I'm obsessed with bird, though. Nate.
I know. Yeah, she'll try to steal my ear pod out. So, yeah, not today. She had a little attitude earlier, so we're not on talking terms right now.
She's like an angry teenager.
But yeah,
Yeah.
teenager. She's definitely a teenage bird. So yeah, it was funny. We went out of town for a little bit, and a friend came to take care of the bird. And I've got a camera in here, a couple cameras in the house, and it was funny because I'm like, oh, he's here. Let's take a look. We tune in, and he let the bird out, and the bird doesn't want to like go back in. And he's like, God, I have to, I have to leave here in a couple minutes, and the bird's not listening. So I had to shoot him a text. I'm like, listen, you got to do this, this, and this to get the bird in. He's like, it's a lot of work to get her to listen. I was like, trust me, I know.
But she's cute though.
Yeah, she's adorable. Little bird, big personality.
That's how it is. Oh,
But yeah, they no, I'm glad that we did this. This is fun. So I'm having fun.
I'm so happy I made it to be in real time with Nate, that's an actual thing that has officially taken place.
No, it's awesome.
I love you too, Selena, but I talk to you every day.
Any other errant grievances that we need to get out here while we're here? That kind of
We have covered peptides, GLP-1, intuitive eating, calorie deficits.
yeah. I don't think there's anything else.
Fitness. Bird.
If someone hates what I had to say, go ahead and meet up with me in the DMs. You can shoot me a DM. I'll gladly talk that out with you. I think that there's a lot of misnomers in this community, and they need to be addressed. Oh, you want to talk about dietary fiber ad nauseum? Is that anything?
Is that?
I think that's me.
It might be me. Is it me?
Right, can you hear me?
Yeah. It might be me. I'll leave and come back.
All right.
Oh yeah, it's
All
her.
right. Oops.
Yeah, I was gonna say if do we want to go on a 45-minute tangent about dietary fiber and how it's not necessary here?
You have it timed.
Yeah, no, I don't have the time for that. I don't think people care, honestly. Like, I know this is gonna sound terrible. That shit is boring. No one wants to hear
It
about
is.
dietary fiber.
Oh my
And,
god!
the
I
other
get
thing.
so sick of hearing about it, honestly. And
Well,
here
I
we
think, okay, so, I'll tell you, for me, as someone who is living the lifestyle, living the diet, I actually find things like that super boring. And I think essential carbohydrate conversations super boring. What I do
Yeah.
enjoy is hearing about the changes that have been made, positive changes that people have experienced. I live vicariously through other people's successes. I genuinely do. I love watching people win. And I love hearing about, I used to not be able to do this and now I can do this. Or I was 4,000 pounds and now I'm only 100 pounds or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, definitely.
And I want to hear about what people can do or what they are doing. That's why you look at like some of these pages, like, Carnivore JT, super cool dude, Carnivore Ray, let's see, Keto Greg, all these guys. And you like look at, or, Miss Me.
Keto Greg. I mean, I can't speak to the others because I've not met them, but met Keto Greg in person, and he is as that way in person as he is online, which
I
is
believe
nice.
it. I think a lot of people want to see what the diet does, or keto or carnivore for that matter, what those diets do, how it's positively affected people, and then what they can do because of the diet. I am more interested in the story of what people can do now that their life's been changed in a positive manner than hearing about dietary fiber or if carbs are essential or if produce is killing people. Like, I legitimately don't care about that sort of stuff. I love seeing people win. Another super underrated account is Troy, Coach Troy. I'm gonna go and I'll find something he posts. I'll throw it in my story if you follow me. I think he's super underrated. I think he's kind of living in that keto space, and he does he's got a carnivore. He's a carnivore coach type person. But I love seeing like dudes who are doing jujitsu, dudes who are lifting weight, ladies who are doing marathons. Like, I think that's more important to me than if fiber is essential.
We're not running marathons.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I love seeing people making those positive life changes. I look at, I can't remember what his name. Big dude. I think some of you guys met him at the the deal in
Yes.
like he's
Oh,
lost like
you had
100
to
pounds,
put
200 pounds.
on that one.
Yeah, we'll put a pin and we'll remember. I'll tag him in a story, or whatever. I love seeing people win, and I want to hear their story. I want to hear about them winning, and I want to hear about them, the positive life changes they made and the things they can do now because they're metabolically healthier, or they've physically lost the weight, or they've got a physical build. I don't give a shit about dietary fiber. Like that's boring to me. I don't care about essential carbs. None of that shit. None of that shit is interesting to me. The story behind people winning is far more interesting, fascinating to me. I love that. And like I said, I live vicariously through other people sometimes when I see the win, and it motivates me. I think it should motivate others. That's what's going to get people to go and eat keto. That's what's going to get people to eat carnivore, not a hour-long podcast on dietary fiber. Like, sorry.
The high calorie human.
Yes.
Yes.
Shout out high calorie human. You're killing it, bro. Keep working. Yeah.
Absolutely. I was so proud of him when speaking of meeting him at Meat Stock, I got to stop to talk to him for a minute. And I was like, so how is it actually being here? Because although he had lost a lot of weight, it's like the reality is he's still carrying a lot of weight. And I was like, how are you doing like through this conference? And he said, one of the most amazing things is he said, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it through a single day, but he walked the whole thing every single day. And he said it's the first time he's been able to do something like that without being in absolute teetotal pain.
Yeah, I love that. And for me, that is so much more interesting. That's so much more motivating. And stories like that need to get out. People like that should be the one in the forefront, not you're doing carnivore wrong, not this dogmatic subculture, in this community where they're like talking down to people because they had a piece of cheese or some dairy, or they had like a stick of celery or something like that. Like, that's lame. No one cares about those people. And honestly, it's the truth. And I say that because you can see it in their interactions with people in the community. Like that negative, dogmatic, like browbeating that they're doing, that shows up. People see it and they're not interested in it. They want to see the positive things. They want to see people win. I will take a underdog story every day over a conversation about dietary fiber and carbs. Sorry, that's me. So
absolutely,
that's all I've got to say on that. I could go on for hours about it, but I choose not to. So I love watching people win. The other thing I have to say is if you have followed me and you've got any questions about either the peptides or you have any questions, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a surgeon. I'll tell you what worked for me, and I'll direct you to people who are knowledgeable about it. I have no problem sharing information from other influencers or health people. I think there's some awesome resources out there and even smaller accounts that aren't getting the recognition they should. And I'm not a big account by any means, but I'll definitely revert you off to someone who knows something. I'm here to help. I'm not a coach. I know there are a lot of people out there who.
That's what you are. You're a guiding light, like a lighthouse.
Yeah. I'm not a coach. I have no intent on coaching. I love to inspire people. I love sharing my lifestyle, my work, things I do. I'm more of a lifestyle page. I'm not a fitness influencer. I do fitness things, but I think if I can, inspire another middle-aged dad to go, well, oh my God, the bird in the background. No, if I can inspire another middle-aged dad to like go out and make that positive change where they can show up and do things for their kids and do things with their kids, that they couldn't do before. Or I give them, a couple extra years of life where they can experience grandchildren and all those sort of things. I'm all about it. So I think there's a lot of people who they gatekeep a little bit of the information and they use their coaching or fitness influencer stuff as a paywall to get to that level. And I just think that's ridiculous. So, and I understand that it's an industry, people need to make money, but also in the same breath, like I'll send you to, if I don't know the answer, I will revert you off to someone who knows. I think it takes a village. So,
Absolutely does take a village just to get people to where they can navigate their own world in this world. Because
yeah,
as we talked about earlier, we're all dealing with different aspects of what has happened to our bodies, our systems, what's gone on through everything that's happened. What I experienced, the issues I come across is not necessarily going to be the same issues that you've come across, that you're dealing with, or that you might have ended up with, even if it was caused by the same things.
sure.
So
Well, that's like, like
absolutely.
there are women out there with like PCOS and all those sort of things. And like, I could never speak to that, but I probably know someone who's dealt with it, who's battled with it and who's found
Right.
relief in whatever aspect. So I would definitely refer them off. And yeah, I, I think if the community was a little bit more understanding of people coming from different spots, starting in different locations and not one universal bandage for everything,
Yeah.
I think it would be better off. But, you've got some people stuck in their ways and, you know, in the
Yeah.
end, the people who are willing to help and willing to guide and steer and, not gatekeep information, those people are going to be the ones who rise to the top. And that's what I love about this, the carnivore community. What I love about the village is the sharing of information
Absolutely.
and access to information. So you guys are killing it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for always being a part of it. You have been there from every aspect of its evolution. And always a great sounding board and a steady guarantee of just no BS. And
I appreciate that.
that speaks volumes to
I
anybody.
don't have anything to lose or anything to gain. What I do gain is, if I do gain anything, is watching other people win, and I love that. And I know that sounds like, very like holy or whatever. I don't know, but I do genuinely. I like, my favorite thing is like getting text messages from friends who are like, "Dude, I did what you said and it worked," or
Right.
they'll be like, "Hey, I'm gonna try this and it's working for me," and I love that. I love. I get so much joy from watching other people succeed, and I think it's just a personality thing. So I don't know.
No, I get it. I absolutely get it. Well, I think on that note might be a good time to shut us down for this particular round. I
I
suspect that
love.
we are going to have another one soon.
I hope so. I hope so. I love to talk with you guys, and you're all awesome. So
Same.
if you haven't, like I said, if anyone's watching this and they have any questions, reach out to me. I'll try to reply. I've been super busy, but I'm doing my best. So I think I've got messages from a couple people right now that are unread. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just working weird hours right now. So all right, y'all have a good day.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, everybody. Until next time, we'll see you on the flip side.